Hi, this is Derek Easley for Gamefob Network here at the amazing Wondercon in Anaheim, California, and I found Larry Thomas, famous for his role in Seinfeld as the Soup Nazi. How's it going, Larry?
Pretty good, thanks.
And we were just talking off camera about some experiences with your cons, and this is early at this con so far, so how are you enjoying it? How's the crowd?
The crowd is great. This is kind of the perfect convention because, like, San Diego's way too much, and some of the other ones, of course, are too small. So this one is always the perfect size, you know.
The Goldilocks.
Yeah, it really is. It's the Goldilocks of conventions.
Nice. So you did this role years ago, and you've done several roles since, but, you know, people recognize you off the street for this. So just briefly tell us how your life has changed off this role, how it's maybe helped you in other roles and maybe hindered you for others.
Well, I think it's more help than hindered, because it really put me on the map, and as an actor, especially in Hollywood, they need to know who you are, just to begin with. But I don't know that it's hindered me that much. I'm sure there's one or two roles I probably didn't get because they didn't want that kind of recognition, but I still do shows like CSI and, you know, stuff like that. It doesn't bother them that much. But as far as how my life has changed, I always try to explain this, and it's really hard to do, but it's a different life. It didn't just change, it turned into something else. To go from nobody knowing who you are to most of the world knowing who you are, it's kind of cool. I wouldn't say there's a downside to it, but it's so different, you know. Not a day goes by, or even part of a day, where it doesn't have something to do with it, you know.
Now, Seinfeld was such an amazing show, and besides the very talented leads, there have been hundreds and hundreds of actors that had guest appearances, cameos, principal roles, and episodes. Your character transcended above. So why do you think your character is like a comedy icon? So many people will quote your lines, people dress up for you as Halloween. Like, what is it about that character and that performance that like really crossed over?
I think it has to do partially with the fact that the way they reacted to my character. I mean, they were so afraid of him that it gave him such an impact. But I think also it's because, and I think I'm not wrong on this one, I think it's the only quotable catchphrase from Seinfeld attributed to a character other than the four of them.
I think that's correct,
You know? So to have my own catchphrase has meant a lot.
Very cool.
You know?
Very cool. So tell us about what you have coming up next, some other roles, and your next event.
Well, next week I'm going to Chicago for the premiere of a film I did there called You Don't Say, premiering at the Patio Theater downtown. And then I've got a few other appearances. Oddly, by doing an appearance at a minor league baseball team last year, I now have about 5 more minor league teams lined up that want me to do appearances, so I'm doing like one a month of those. And the only problem, those are cool, but the only problem is I got to throw out the first pitch. So for the first time in my life, I've got to throw a decent pitch. It's never mattered before because I was always the actor. I don't know how to, I don't need to be good at baseball, but so now I need to stand 60 feet away and get it into the catcher's hand. But then I got a couple of other movies, one that I'm really proud of called Redemption for Robbing the Dead. And you could find all the info on that on my website, which is realsoupnazi.com. And it's Redemption is a Western, and it's a really good, serious Western. It's just turned out really well. So I'd really try to promote that one. Go to my website, see where you can get it, and watch it. It's good.
Very cool. And besides doing press here for my website, I'm also a filmmaker myself, and I'm doing a documentary about typecasts in Hollywood, about people breaking their body image. So do you have a couple words of advice for young actors who might get pigeonholed in a certain role or a certain look, and then how do they spread their wings beyond that? Is it just work ethic? Is it contacts? Or is it just accepting the way you look and then fighting through it?
I would say that, first of all, just a little preamble to that, you kind of need a little bit of typecasting in Hollywood. It's almost impossible to be a Sam Rockwell or something these days where you could be so different in every role that nobody realizes they're watching the same guy. Because you need people to go, oh, it's him again, it's him again. You need people to know you're working by watching your work. But if you ever like get too pigeonholed in like a certain genre or something, you just do a little administration towards those kind of shows that are different. You know, like a great example I said earlier is that I did a CSI episode once, and I walked in there, and the guy was a convenience store owner, and the director and all the producers were there, and the director goes, give me something like a Middle Eastern accent. And the producer sitting next to him just elbowed him, and he goes, did you look at his resume? And he looks and he goes, oh, geez, you were the soup Nazi. And I went, yeah, and he goes, yeah, better not do a Middle Eastern accent. He goes, what else? And I go, I could do any accent. So he had me do it Russian, you know, just to change it a little bit, because they didn't want people watching CSI going like, oh, it's a soup Nazi, you know. So, but at least I still got the role and I still did the show. So, yeah, you just kind of have to show them you can do something different. But a little bit of typecasting in Hollywood is a good thing, because, you know, sometimes it's easier on the casting people to go, oh, that's Larry Thomas, he does this really well, let's just offer it to him or bring him in or whatever. So.
Well, thank you so much for talking to us. We're going to send everyone to your website and support your stuff. You have great merch for sale, right? You have the ladles, you have shirts.
Yeah, T-shirts, ladles, photos from Austin Powers, photos from Redemption, and of course there's the famous Postal, where I played Osama bin Laden. And that one I guess you could Netflix. It's kind of hit and miss as a comedy, but I did get to play Osama bin Laden in that. And on Arrested Development, I got to play Saddam Hussein. So
you've got all these iconic villains that you, the soup Nazi, Osama bin Laden, Saddam Hussein walk into a bar. Oh, it's Larry Thomas.
For a Jew from Brooklyn, not bad, right? My mom's proud.
Very cool. And I'm sorry I do this to you, but can you say the line for the website real quick?
And no soup for you.
Yes. Thank you so much. Bye from Gamefob Network.